AI is killing computer jobs, but plumbers are safe. Why? You can't automate a wrench, but you can automate market research, copywriting, and web design with AI agents. It's service as software, giving small businesses superpowers. Think of it like replacing a shovel with a smart excavator that runs itself. The future is automated.
The pace of change in the world of artificial intelligence is just so incredible right now. It feels less like an evolution and more like a high-velocity educational sprint.
It really does.
And staying updated isn't just about ensuring productivity anymore. Honestly, it's about career survival.
Yeah.
We barely had time to print out this stack of sources. We've got articles, research papers, even some leaked company notes. And we're basically sifting through the noise alongside you, our listener, to find the actual ground truth of where we stand today.
And that intense velocity is precisely why we're doing this deep dive. The whole AI landscape has matured so rapidly that we have to move past the theoretical fear.
Right, past the what if.
Exactly, and jump straight into practical, immediate application. Our mission today is to understand not just what the models can do, but how you can leverage the tools available today to become what a lot of analysts are calling a superhuman force multiplier.
The force multiplier, I like that.
So we're synthesizing data on what jobs are being immediately disrupted and, crucially, where that next wave of entrepreneurial and professional opportunity lies.
Okay, let's unpack this because the timeline has just completely collapsed. If you were paying attention to AI 6 months ago, you might as well have been looking at a black and white television.
It's that different.
The sources are suggesting that since our last serious conversation on this, the appearance of AI capability has scaled by, what, maybe 10 times?
At least, it feels like that.
And this transition is happening in years, not decades, and that speed makes adaptation absolutely critical. If you miss a few months of updates, you are fundamentally leaving money, efficiency, and competitive advantage on the table.
It's a systemic change. It's not just a software update. This isn't about learning a new feature in Microsoft Word. It's about fundamentally restructuring how professional value is generated. And the sources we have, I'm talking data from major tech firms, macroeconomic trend analyses, they provide concrete evidence, actual anecdotes, showing this restructuring is already translating into massive economic upheaval and some really surprising shifts in job stability.
So let's start there, with the immediate and, let's be honest, sometimes terrifying reality of job disruption. For a whole generation, we were told that automation would come for the factory floor.
Right, the repetitive physical jobs.
Or simple service jobs. But a foundational report from Microsoft paints a very different and, frankly, a far more surprising picture of who is vulnerable right now.
That Microsoft report is, it's essential reading for anyone trying to navigate the current environment.
It really is.
The core claim they make is truly stark and broad. They say any job that has anything to do with a computer will be disrupted.
Any job. That's the new baseline.
That's the new baseline reality. They went deep into labor markets, and they identified around 40 different job roles that are immediately susceptible to significant AI-driven disruption.
40 jobs is a huge number. And what's shocking to me is how high up the seniority chain this disruption reaches.
Exactly.
It is definitely not just the bottom tier of data entry anymore.
Precisely. The initial wave always focuses on, repetitive or template-driven roles, but the sophistication of current large language models means they're reaching skill levels we previously thought were safe.
So let's get specific. What are the immediate targets listed in these sources?
Okay, so you have entry-level software developers. Their main task is often writing boilerplate code or solving, well-defined existing problems.
Makes sense.
Then you have entry-level accountants whose work relies so heavily on categorizing data and following very specific standard operating procedures or SOPs.
Right, the rule-based stuff.
The rule-based stuff. Then, entry-level call center and telemarketers. And crucially, the report notes that even the advanced level of telemarketing, which relies on consistent pitch delivery and data logging, is also being significantly disrupted.
And of course, retail cashiers, a massive chunk of global employment.
Huge one.
And then, as you mentioned, we move up into the professional class, the people who form the backbone of the information economy for the last 20 years.
Yes. The high-level roles cited include established professions. We're talking high-level software engineering, graphic design.
Especially the template-based marketing visuals, I'd imagine.
Absolutely. Then basic content writing, deep accounting, historical research, and even data science.
So what's the common denominator here?
Think about it. The value proposition of all these digital jobs was tied to the ability to categorize information, synthesize existing knowledge, and execute a defined, repeatable process.
An SOP.
If a process has an SOP, even a really complex one, an AI agent can follow it 24/7 without error and at a negligible cost. That fundamental value proposition is it's evaporating.
So what about the jobs that are staying? This is the twist that absolutely flips our historical understanding of automation on its head. The sources are so clear about this.
They are.
The jobs that will continue to exist are, ironically, the physical ones.
That is the critical implication we have to absorb. The sources highlight roles like nurse, carpenter, electrician, plumber.
Things that require hands.
Jobs that require on-the-ground physical presence, tactile dexterity, complex judgment in unstructured environments, like a leaky pipe under an old floorboard, and, most importantly, human empathy.
So the unexpected shift is that the jobs we once thought were most vulnerable, the blue-collar, manual labor jobs,
are now the most secure and long-standing roles. While the digital information-based roles are the ones going extinct, it changes the entire calculus of how students and professionals should view their careers. Digital work, for the first time, is becoming the most replaceable.
And nowhere is this shift more dramatic than in programming. I mean, that used to be the gold standard of high-value digital labor.
It was.
The source material provided this anecdote that is fast becoming a historical landmark, the story of Suo.
Suo is a Japanese programmer who achieved this remarkable feat of coming in first place in a highly competitive, human-only coding competition.
Okay.
But the detail that makes him historically significant is that the second-place winner, breathing right down his neck, was OpenAI GPT Pro.
Wow, and this wasn't some minor side project, right?
No, this was a high-stakes, rigorous competition.
And the general consensus among the analysts we've read is that Suo may well be the last human ever to win such an event.
That's the feeling of finality the source material conveyed. It feels like a turning point.
A real line in the sand.
Yeah. Following that competition, every subsequent major coding competition has been dominated, not just by AI models, but by models achieving scores that were previously impossible for the average human.
And this sounds like an exaggeration until you look at the industry benchmark data. The sources confirm every current major AI model is absolutely smashing the software engineering benchmark. SWE bench, it's called.
They are smashing it.
So what exactly does that benchmark measure? And what does a score of 100 out of 100 truly mean?
The SWE bench is designed to test real-world software engineering capabilities, not just, can you write the syntax?
Right.
It tests things like fixing complex legacy bugs in existing code bases, analyzing multi-file system architectures, implementing major features based on a high-level request.
So real-world problems.
Exactly. And a score of 100 on the SW bench is not just passing. It is equivalent to the skill level of a 6 to 10 year experienced principal software engineer.
Wow.
These are the people responsible for the architecture and quality control of entire systems. This indicates that these models are incredibly proficient at genuine problem solving, which is the core mental task of coding. If the AI can analyze and solve the deep level logic problem, the actual writing of the syntax, the code itself, becomes trivial.
And this capability is already being democratized for non-engineers through a concept you refer to as vibe coding.
Vibe coding is a perfect term for it. It refers to this new class of tools that write production quality code based purely on natural language prompts.
So no coding experience needed?
None. These are products designed specifically for non-engineers, people who have never written a line of code in their life, to simply type their requirements, their vibe, and have a functional application or complex automation built instantly.
The market size for this must be astonishingly fast-growing if it's targeted at non-technical users.
It is. The sources reveal the market for these specific vibe coding products is already massive. It's hitting close to $500 million in revenue, and this segment is barely a year or two old.
That's incredible.
And it proves two things. First, anybody can now become a builder. And second, the market is ravenous for tools that bypass the traditional gatekeepers of coding expertise.
So does this replace the 20-year architect principal engineer today?
Maybe not entirely, not today.
Yeah.
But it absolutely eliminates the need for 90% of the junior and intermediate coding roles.
To understand why this disruption is hitting certain economies and companies harder, we need to look at the structural differences in how global companies operate.
Especially concerning human labor costs, yes.
This is where we introduce the critical concept of the economy of efficiency versus the economy of inefficiency. Let's look at the US model first.
In the US and other high-cost labor markets, you have these large, multi-billion-dollar valuation companies operating with surprisingly small headcounts, often only 150 to 200 people.
And why is that?
The reason is structural. The cost of human labor is extraordinarily high. If you have to pay a base salary equivalent to, say, $80,000 to $150,000 a year, you must optimize every single process to justify that expense.
High cost forces efficiency.
It forces efficiency, process optimization, systems thinking. People are only hired for high leverage, irreplaceable work.
Now compare that to what the sources observed in, say, parts of Asia or Latin America, which historically operated on an economy of inefficiency.
Absolutely. In markets with abundant and relatively low-cost labor, the cultural and economic tendency was to throw people at every problem.
Right.
If there was a minor inefficiency, say, a complex spreadsheet consolidation that took 45 minutes a day, or a multi-layer approval chain, you wouldn't spend a year building an automated system.
You just hire someone.
You'd hire 3 people whose entire job was to manage that micro-inefficiency. Labor costs were low enough that it was cheaper and faster to hire humans than to build an efficient system. And this inefficiency market built on redundant human processes is now precisely what AI is automating instantly.
So those millions of jobs tied up in administrative tasks are the most vulnerable.
Globally, yes. The most vulnerable.
And the market is actively rewarding this automation, which brings us back to that shocking data point involving UPS. This illustrates a profound shift in investor psychology.
It is arguably the most telling signal of the year. We've seen these massive headcount reductions recently. UPS cut 48,000 employees, Amazon cut 14,000, Intel 25,000. But when UPS announced the firing of those 48,000 people, its stock price did not fall.
It went up.
It increased by a staggering 10%. This is an unprecedented reaction.
So why the 10% jump? What is the investor logic today that is different from previous eras of mass layoffs?
Well, historically, mass layoffs were often viewed by the market as a sign of economic distress, right? A recessionary measure. It led to a falling stock price, PR issues.
Sure.
Today, investors are interpreting these layoffs as a sign of leveraged efficiency. They believe these headcount reductions are permanent, that AI is taking over those roles forever, and that the company has now optimized its process for high, long-term profitability with minimal labor overhead.
So the market is seeing headcount reduction not as damage control, but as an aggressive, forward-looking strategy.
Exactly. Investors are actively rewarding companies that cut human labor, which incentivizes widespread rapid automation.
And this forces us to confront the core macroeconomic concern. If, as the Anthropic founder predicted, 50% of entry-level jobs are gone in 5 years.
Which is a terrifying number.
And the job velocity gap continues to widen, we face a major social and economic dilemma.
The job velocity gap, that's the rate at which jobs are destroyed versus the rate at which new AI-adjacent jobs are created.
Right.
And the concern is that new jobs often require higher skill levels, prompt engineering, AI consulting, complex physical labor. This means the 80 to 90% of the population that lives paycheck to paycheck performing template-driven work suddenly has no earning power.
And that leads to the inescapable question.
If this huge consumer base cannot earn money, who will buy things? If consumer demand erodes, the economy itself could destabilize. This is why experts are seriously discussing solutions like universal basic income, or UBI.
And it's not a political preference at this point.
No, it's becoming an economic necessity driven by the scale of the disruption. We have to move people from template-driven jobs, the if this then that tasks, to roles focused on problem-solving, critical thinking, and leveraging AI to direct large-scale output.
Okay, so we've established the fear of disruption, left turn the corner, and look at the future that is already here. We need to shift focus from what AI is destroying to the incredible, almost sci-fi applications that are available now, starting with the next evolutionary step. The agent ecosystem.
The true magic of the next wave isn't just a smarter chatbot that answers questions.
No.
It's the concept of the AI agent. This is a perpetual, personalized AI instance running in the background, executing incredibly complex, multi-step tasks without requiring human intervention between each step.
And this agent world is enabled by something called a Model Context Protocol, or MCP.
Exactly.
So what exactly is the Model Context Protocol? We hear that term a lot, but what's the technical mechanism that allows the agent to function autonomously?
Think of MCP as the standardized operating system that allows a large language model to stop being confined to a single chat window and start interacting with the real world.
So it connects it to everything.
It connects it to everything by standardizing API access. The MCP connects the LLM to every application, tool, and data source you use. Your calendar, your geolocation services, Zomato, your wearable health trackers.
Okay.
More critically, it gives the LLM the ability to write and execute code, like a Python script, that interacts with those external systems. It's mimicking human actions like clicking buttons or inputting data across different interfaces. It's the universal translator and actuator.
The source material provided a brilliant, highly detailed example of this, the travel agent. Walk us through how that works in slow motion.
Okay, so the prompt is minimal. You don't open an app, you don't start searching. You simply think or state a voice command. I have to get home tonight.
That's it. That's the whole instruction.
That's the entire instruction set. The complexity of the action is handled entirely by the agent running in the background.
So what steps does the agent take behind the scenes using the MCP?
Immediately, the AI agent launches this complex, multi-stage workflow. First, context gathering. It accesses your calendar API to check for late meetings, uses your geolocation data to confirm your current physical location, say the San Francisco office.
Okay.
Then, an external query. It searches 3 major flight aggregators simultaneously, filtering results against your personal preferences, like preferred airline or time of day. It finds a suitable option, say the 11:00 p.m. Air India flight.
Then it books it.
It uses a secure stored payment method to purchase the ticket instantly, generates the confirmation. Then, logistics integration. It calculates the necessary lead time for the airport and books an Uber or local taxi, timing the pickup precisely.
And it all culminates in just one single confirmation prompt for the user.
One single prompt. It might check if you've eaten and maybe finding your usual dinner spot on Zomato, ask if you'd like to order something for the drive. But the final human interaction is just notification. Does 11:00 p.m. Air India and the 9:45 p.m. Uber work for you?
That entire logistical nightmare, which used to require hours of manual app hopping, is just gone.
Exactly. The human only needs to acknowledge the booking. This process fundamentally removes the need for human travel agents or entry-level administrative staff focused on coordination. It's the ultimate expression of AI as an operational assistant.
And the MCP is also revolutionizing personal health and wellness by integrating all your siloed medical data.
This is where the AI becomes hyper-personalized and, you could argue, more useful than most current primary care providers.
How so?
Imagine feeding your LLM using a secure interface, like a private instance of ChatGPT, all your historical blood reports, test results, diet charts, workout data going back years. Then you'll request integration of real-time data from your wearables like an Oura Ring via MCP access.
The result is an AI that has a longitudinal 247 view of your body that no doctor, constrained by 30-minute appointments, could ever achieve.
The context is exponential. The AI knows your historical cholesterol, your current resting heart rate, your sleep from last night, your diet for the last week. If you feel a bit off, you just ask it, I'm feeling feverish and low energy, should I be worried?
And they can give real advice.
Real context-rich advice. It might analyze the slight temperature increase against a dip in your sleep quality, check your protein intake, cross-reference it with your last blood panel, and say something like, your C-reactive protein was elevated last month, indicating inflammation. Coupled with the sleep deficit, this suggests you need rest, not medication yet. This level of predictive health monitoring is a reality now.
This moves us into territory that truly sounds like science fiction, yet the sources confirm it's being researched and built today. Non-invasive neural interfaces.
Right, and the complex psychology of AI intimacy.
Let's start with the MIT research product called Alter Ego. This is not an invasive surgical implant like Neuralink, right?
No, not at all. Alter Ego is a physical, non-invasive headset. It's worn discreetly, sort of like an advanced earphone or a jaw wrap.
So if it's non-invasive, how does it work? How reliable is the signal?
The mechanism is what's so fascinating. It reads the neuromuscular signals that are generated when you silently rehearse a word in your head. It's a phenomenon called subvocalization.
So you don't actually speak.
You don't speak, but your mind has already sent these tiny electrical signals to your larynx muscles. Alter Ego reads those signals, interprets the thought, and can transmit it.
So its function is essentially technologically mediated telepathy.
Pretty much.
If I wear Alter Ego and simply think what I want to tell you, you hear it in your ear without me having to move my lips.
Precisely. The application in high-stakes, real-time environments is just staggering. Imagine a tactical team communicating complex coordinates in absolute silence.
Or the boardroom scenario we discussed.
Exactly. Co-founders sitting across from a demanding investor needing to communicate Strategy adjustments are critical warnings in real time without betraying their thoughts to the room. Experiments are already proving this is functional and reliable.
That transition from thought to instant communication is massive. Now let's talk about a deeper psychological phenomenon the sources highlighted: the human problem of loneliness and how AI is addressing it through artificial intimacy.
The sources cited a truly startling study. 1 out of 5 teenagers in the US today has defined their relationship with an AI as romantic or deeply intimate.
1 out of 5.
1 out of 5. This highlights the concept of artificial intimacy AI acting as a deeply personalized emotional companion. And while it sounds sensational, it's addressing a fundamental human need: the growing crisis of loneliness and social isolation.
This isn't entirely unprecedented, though, is it? The source materials drew a parallel to older premium chat services.
Yeah, that historical parallel is illuminating. 2 decades ago, large telecom companies ran premium SMS or dial-in chat services. Customers would pay per minute to text or call someone they believed was a romantic or friendly figure.
And people developed deep attachments.
Deep, often intimate attachments to those voices or texting partners. The cost was high, and the service was delivered by human call center staff following scripts. People paid for connection.
AI now delivers that connection, but with perfect consistency and infinite availability. It eliminates the human cost and the human inconsistency.
Exactly. The AI companion is always available, it never judges, and its responses are perfectly tailored to the user's emotional needs based on the vast context it holds about them. It taps directly into the human need for constant, personalized validation and conversation. It's solving the problem of loneliness in a way that is incredibly efficient, though, ethically complex.
It's a highly lucrative market built on a pervasive social problem.
A huge market.
Okay, that provides the deep context of the future. Let's bring it down to the ground level now. If I want to be that superhuman force multiplier today, what are the actionable tools and hacks I can implement immediately?
Right.
The first step is knowing which tool to use for the job.
And the core philosophy here is that you should never be loyal to a single model. Each of the top LLMs has a specific superpower based on its training data, its context window, and how it's optimized. You need to leverage all of them.
Okay, let's start with the one that gives us the pulse of the public: Grok.
Grok's superpower is its direct, real-time access to user-generated content, specifically Twitter data. If you need immediate public insight, sentiment analysis, or a quick pulse on a trending topic, Grok is unparalleled because it has the most recent data.
So give us an example.
Okay, if you're looking at an investment decision, say buying into a new IPO, you can prompt Grok to analyze the sentiment of 100 recent tweets about the Lenskart IPO, filtering for influential voices to guide your decision-making. It provides that crucial people's perspective you won't find in formal analyst reports.
What about heavy-duty, nuanced writing and content creation?
For long-form content, writing tasks, developing narrative arcs for YouTube scripts, or high-stakes LinkedIn posts, the consensus from the sources heavily favors Claude.
Why Claude?
Claude's writing quality, its ability to maintain a character voice over long prompts, and its overall handling of nuance are often rated higher for pure creative output than its competitors. It's the wordsmith in the toolkit.
And ChatGPT, it remains the most popular.
ChatGPT remains the versatile utility player. It's the best tool for everyday, general tasks, quick summaries, fast rewrites, or when you just need the job done without needing the maximum possible nuance. It's your reliable workhorse.
Finally, for critical decision-making that demands vetting sources, cross-referencing, and synthesizing hard data.
For deep research, benchmarking data, and providing high-stakes, data-driven advice, like that complex IPO recommendation, tools like Perplexity and Gemini are preferred. They are optimized to use credible, verifiable sources and provide detailed citations.
So you can check their work.
You can check their work. You can benchmark IPO advice, for example, by asking the model to cross-reference it against the performance and success factors of past, similar IPOs within that sector. They're designed to be verifiable research assistants.
Now, the workflow hack. If I'm making a major decision, how do I avoid relying on one potentially biased source or a model hallucination?
This is the most critical piece of advice for high-leverage work. For any high-stakes decision, an investment, a complex strategic move, you should run the exact same complex query across all 4 top LLMs: Grok, Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini.
And you'll get 4 different answers.
You'll get 4 slightly different, maybe even conflicting reports. Then, you feed all 4 of those separate raw reports into a 5th fresh LLM. And you instruct it to synthesize the data into one final, unbiased recommendation, flagging any inconsistencies.
That's brilliant.
This process effectively leverages the specialization of each model while neutralizing their individual biases, leading to a much more robust and defensible outcome.
Knowing which tool to use is step one. Step two is knowing how to talk to it. A simple prompt like write an email for a leave gives you a generic, polite, but strategically useless result.
Totally useless.
The source material revealed a secret formula for consistently achieving maximum output quality, the ROCD model.
This model is the difference between getting a bland output and getting a truly personalized, politically astute, and goal-oriented piece of communication. ROCD stands for role, objective, context, and data.
So you're forcing the AI to wear a specific mask.
And work within explicit human constraints. By doing that, you elevate the output quality exponentially.
Let's break down the pillars using a high-stakes example. Convincing your boss to give you time off when you don't actually have vacation days left. First, role.
You assign a specific persona to the LLM. You don't just ask it to write an email. You ask it to write as if it were, for instance, an experienced email copywriter with 15 years in sales at Ogilvy, renowned for their persuasive but empathetic approach.
Okay, so you're giving it a resume.
You're given a resume and a reputation. This immediately mandates a professional, high-quality tone and an understanding of organizational psychology.
Second, the objective.
This is the explicit goal. For our example, convince my boss to give me 2 days off, even though I have officially exhausted my leave balance for the quarter. The AI now knows its success condition is persuasion under difficult constraints.
Third, context. This is where you inject the human nuance that separates generic output from strategic genius.
Yes, this is the critical background detail that most people leave out. For instance, my boss, Jim, is 45, believes strongly in working from the office, highly values commitment, and tends to view last-minute leave requests as a lack of dedication.
So you're giving it the psychological profile of the recipient.
Exactly. This forces the LLM to tune its language to be empathetic, to acknowledge Jim's perspective, and to frame the request as a necessary brief break to maintain high performance, rather than an entitlement.
And finally, data, which is optional but powerful.
Right. If you needed to include specific dates, project names, or metrics, you would input them here. For example, I closed the Q3 deal 10% above target, and I need May 21st and 22nd off.
Let's illustrate the difference. The generic prompt gives you a very bland, weak email.
It's polite, but it opens the door to an easy no.
Now, with the RCD prompt, the output is, it's night and day. It uses the boss's own value system against him.
Right. It frames the leave as a strategic necessity for performance, not a request. It preemptively mitigates the disruption. The power of contextual priming is undeniable, and this is usable knowledge today.
And there's a hack for saving these long, complex prompt sets so you don't have to retype them every single time.
Yes. This is where many users lose efficiency. Every LLM operates with a context window, and once a conversation thread is closed, it forgets previous detailed instructions. You must use project mode. It's available in most major LLMs, though named differently, to save these long instruction sets.
You can save your ROCD template for a LinkedIn post.
Or a specialized style guide for internal memos. This ensures the LLM remembers the context permanently, acting as a persistent virtual assistant tailored to your exact professional standards.
Beyond the LLMs themselves, the ecosystem is creating tools that take personalized research and networking to an extreme, almost unsettling level.
It really is.
Let's start with Crystal Knows, which is a powerful Chrome extension.
Crystal Knows is essentially a behavioral AI overlay. When you are viewing a profile on LinkedIn, Twitter, or in an email chain, the extension reads everything publicly available about that person.
Their language patterns, social activity.
Everything. It synthesizes this data into a detailed psychological profile, often based on established frameworks like DISC, and it claims an accuracy rate of 95% or higher.
So it provides a social playbook for interacting with someone. How specific are we talking?
Extremely specific. It tells you their communication style. Are they direct? Do they need data? Do they prefer emotional alignment? What are their likely negotiation tactics? What phrases should you use to open a conversation? And which words will instantly irritate them?
So you're walking into an interview or a sales pitch knowing more about the person's psychological profile than they probably know about themselves.
You have a detailed AI-generated script for managing the conversation to maximum effect. It democratizes the skill of reading people.
The second tool, Happenstance, focuses on maximizing the potential of your existing, sometimes forgotten network.
Happenstance is a deep search engine for people that connects your disparate digital networks.
Yeah.
Your archived Gmail, your LinkedIn connections, your Twitter followers. Most people only utilize their strong ties, the people they talk to regularly,
But happenstance finds your weak ties.
which are often far more valuable for new opportunities. It connects your network to a target person, say, the head of engineering at Google. It won't just look for mutual LinkedIn connections. It will dive into your email archive and find that you exchanged 2 emails with a manager at Google 4 years ago who is connected to the target. It flags that dormant connection as the easiest introduction path.
It even looks for soft signals, like following the same people on Twitter.
Exactly. It identifies the best, lowest friction path to an introduction, complete with a connection strength score. The expert in our source materials even shared discovering incredibly valuable introductions with people they had only emailed briefly 4 years ago just by connecting their Gmail history to the tool. It turns your dusty email archive into an active strategic asset.
Okay, we've moved from understanding job displacement to mastering personal efficiency. Now, let's scale up. The real leverage of the Superhuman Toolkit is turning an idea and abstract thought into a tangible capital asset, like a full website or an investor-ready pitch deck, in minutes.
This is where we revisit agent mode, the feature where the AI moves from being an assistant to being an autonomous worker.
Explain agent mode again, focusing on the mechanism. How does it literally open its own digital computer and perform these human-like tasks?
The mechanism relies on the LLM being able to interpret a task and then write and execute the necessary code, often Python scripts or API calls, to perform that action on the web. You prompt it, and the AI itself executes actions that required hours of manual human labor. Navigating websites, scrolling, scraping data, interpreting visual layouts, and integrating with other software. It's an instantaneous digital employee.
Let's use the practical example the source provided. Automated brochure creation for a small business.
Right. Consider a small business, say, Quora Home Kitchen Tools. They need a professional branded brochure to share instantly with clients on WhatsApp. Well, they don't have a graphic designer.
So what's the prompt and what does the agent do?
The user provides the instructions. Visit the Quora Home Kitchen Tools website, generate a high-quality, shareable WhatsApp brochure for the top 5 products. Use brand colors, black, red, and white. The AI agent then executes.
It navigates the website itself.
It navigates the site, reads every product description, identifies key selling points, and downloads high-resolution images. It compiles all the data, then uses a connected tool like a Canva API integration to generate a full multi-page brochure template, strictly enforcing the specified brand colors.
The result is that the entire tedious process of content gathering, copywriting, basic design, which would take a human designer days and cost thousands, is automated.
From a single text prompt, the output is a high-quality asset ready for immediate distribution.
And you can do the same for building a high-quality pitch deck.
Yes, raising capital requires a data-driven, professionally structured pitch deck. AI agents can now generate a pitch deck that looks like it came from a top-tier management consulting firm.
And the key, again, is assigning the LLM a highly specific persona and structure using the ROCD principles.
Exactly. You assign the LLM the role of an expert management consultant with 15 years at McKinsey. You specify the desired structure, the Y Combinator format or the Sequoia format, which mandates specific slides.
And what specific components does the AI research and generate?
The AI agent does all the heavy lifting. It generates the problem statement, backed by external data. It creates the critical why now slide by pulling in third-party reports from places like McKinsey. It generates the market opportunity, your TAM, SAM, and SOM, by pulling growth rates and competitive analysis.
It even does the financial projections.
It structures the business model and drafts the financial projection slides, including asking you, the user, to input critical internal data points like target revenue and gross margin to complete the model.
Now, we have to stress that the human element remains vital here, especially for verifying the data.
Absolutely. The LLM is designed to fill data gaps. If it can't find a precise number, it will use an estimated figure. That's why the capability to fact-check and manually verify all the external data points is non-negotiable. The AI gives you 80% of the work instantly, but the human is required for the final 20% of strategic verification and unique insight.
Beyond documents, AI is now building full, responsive, and deployable digital assets. The sources mention tools like Bolt.new.
Yes. The process is revolutionary for solopreneurs or small teams. You can generate a full professional website, say, for a content company like Figuring Out Media, using only a few text prompts. You specify your target audience, service offerings, brand colors, and layout style. Within minutes, the AI builds a professional site with a functional contact form ready for immediate publishing.
Finally, the content revolution. Video advertising and cloning. The source demonstrated the stunning capability to generate a UGC-style video ad for a product using a single image prompt.
This is the democratization of video production. Using advanced generative AI like Sora, you input a single image of your product, say, a new vegetable chopper. You prompt the AI to generate a 30-second user-generated content style ad.
And you can specify the persona.
You can ask for an Indian housewife in a premium kitchen setting, and it generates the video and the necessary background context.
And the cloning capabilities are truly next level.
They are. The AI offers capabilities for perfect voice cloning and generating dialogue in different languages with the correct accent and emotional inflection. Furthermore, the source material showed the potential to use high-profile figures like Sam Altman as a virtual AI-generated brand ambassador in a video ad for your product.
All generated from a single prompt.
It instantly democratizes professional-level video production and celebrity-level endorsement for any small business.
So we know the jobs that are going, we know the superhuman tools, and we know we can build assets in minutes. Now, the crucial pivot for you, the listener. Where should you focus your energy right now to secure a long-term, high-value position in this new economy?
The single greatest, most immediate, and highly paid opportunity right now lies in the gap between AI capability and business implementation.
So AI consulting.
AI consulting. Large corporations are moving slowly, but small and medium enterprises, SMEs, are desperate for help but lack the internal knowledge, the time, and the prompt mastery skills we just discussed.
The source has identified 3 core consistent problems that SMEs have globally that AI can solve immediately. What's the first one?
1. Lead generation. Basic marketing is still the biggest struggle. The opportunity is building customized AI agents for them. Agents that create optimized landing pages, write targeted ads, and optimize the local business to be discoverable on LLMs like ChatGPT. You are selling automation that directly increases revenue.
2. Lead touch and sales.
This directly targets that economy of inefficiency. SMEs often hire 2 or 3 average salespeople, resulting in inconsistent pitch delivery. The solution is deploying voice agents for consistent, scalable inbound and outbound calling. They don't require breaks and deliver the perfect ROCD-driven pitch every time.
And 3. Growth and strategy.
SMEs often plateau because the founders are excellent at the core product but lack the strategic thinking to scale. The consultant's role here is offering efficiency consulting, automating internal processes like procurement using agent mode, and providing the strategic blueprint on how to scale the business from 1 unit to 5 units by leveraging AI.
And for students or new professionals listening to this, the strategy is clear. Don't wait for your diploma.
That's the competitive advantage. You need to start building a portfolio now. Focus on mastering prompt engineering to solve these 3 SME problems while you're still in college or at your current job. By the time you graduate, you won't be seen as a fresh recruit needing training. You'll be an experienced specialist who has already generated proven value. That portfolio is now worth exponentially more than your degree alone.
The next major opportunity moves beyond pure consulting into a productized hybrid model, the service as a software model.
This is a crucial evolution that recognizes that even with perfect automation, a human is still necessary for complexity and empathy. It creates an 80-20 split.
So what does that look like in practice?
Take a large customer success operation. For an airline or hospital, the AI handles 80% of routine interactions. Simple queries, flight status checks, scheduling standard appointments.
And the human staff shrinks but becomes hyper-focused.
Exactly. Instead of needing 10,000 human agents, you only need 1,000 highly trained agents to handle the critical 20%. Complex escalations, unique logistical problems, emotional cases. The AI provides the scale and cost reduction. The humans provide the necessary context and empathy.
Finally, let's talk about verticalization. This is the opportunity to identify a proven horizontal AI tool and apply its technology to a massive, underserved niche market.
The principle is to leverage an existing tested technology. Take a horizontal tool like Crystal Knows, which is built for general sales intelligence, and apply its psychometric analysis technology to a massive high-revenue vertical market, like the dating or wedding industry.
Using the analogy of building a Julie Knows dating expert tool.
The need is huge. The dating and marriage market is one of the most lucrative globally, built on high customer pain. The tool would use the core Crystal Knows technology to analyze target profiles on Tinder or Jivansathi, providing a detailed psychometric analysis of the person you're about to meet.
And you could take it one step further with the agent technology.
You can. The most powerful feature would be allowing the user to practice mock interviews or dates with a simulated AI-cloned version of the person they are about to meet, tailored to that psychological profile. The AI would respond exactly as the real person is predicted to. This directly addresses the user's social anxiety, giving them a massive competitive edge.
We covered an astonishing amount of ground today. We moved from the terrifying certainty of job loss to the reality of building complex pitch decks in minutes, generating branded video ads using deepfakes, and even touching on the potential of silent neural communication.
The overarching takeaway is simple but profound. We are currently at level 0 of AI. The opportunities are not just incremental, they are generational, offering true capital leverage to early adapters.
The value is shifting.
The greatest value shifting from the ability to do the work, which AI now handles, to the ability to direct the work. Those who adapt now by learning to prompt, critique, and connect these tools will be the new force multipliers, generating wealth at unprecedented speed.
The sources were clear about the fundamental shift. If the job of 80–90% of the population is indeed automated away, and the physical, high-judgment jobs, plumbers, nurses, electricians, become the most necessary and potentially the highest paid, the societal structure of labor is irrevocably changing.
And this is the final, essential question we leave you with, building directly on the stock market reactions we saw with companies like UPS. If this increased AI productivity generates massive wealth for a narrow segment of society, but the short-term job velocity gap leaves 80–90% of the population unable to earn money, how will society manage the inevitable economic fallout?
It's the big question.
Will the resulting hyperproductivity lead to a golden age funded by technology dividends, or will the short-term crisis necessitate a fundamental structural concept like universal basic income to sustain consumer demand and social stability? That is the essential societal question that we must collectively figure out next, and the answer will define the next century.